evening. Welcome to the virtual community meeting for the El Dorado fire. We're following COVID precautions and doing this virtual. We know that not everyone does Facebook, so we ask that you share with your neighbors so that we get the information out. I'm Kate Kramer, Public Information Officer with the Incident Management Team that's working on behalf of the San Bernardino National Forest to manage this fire, along with numerous other agencies. The fire currently is at 9,671 acres and at 7%. So we'd like for you to submit your questions on Facebook. We'll do our best to answer them, and we'll start the briefing. We're going to start with our weather meteorologist. He's going to give a brief update on what's coming, what's happening. We'll go from there to the operations update. Then our IC will wrap this up, and we'll have final words from the mayor of Yucaipa. And then I'd like to introduce representatives and incident commanders from our cooperating agencies. So I'll step off screen. First is Chris Vogel, incident commander of the team representing the San Bernardino National Forest. Next is John Toon, incident commander for CAL FIRE, the San Bernardino unit, and the City of Yucaipa Fire Department.
Good evening.
And then we have Julie Landon representing San Bernardino County Sheriffs. Good evening. And lastly is Lieutenant Campa from Riverside County Sheriffs.
Good evening.
So all these people are involved in putting this fire out. So we'd like to start with our incident meteorologist. He's going to give you a quick update.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Kurt Van Swybrook, the incident meteorologist for the El Dorado fire. What we're looking at, we had a pretty good day today as far as weather was concerned. Not a lot of weather issues going on today other than excessive heat, and we did have a red flag warning that goes into effect for tomorrow because there's a big change that's going to happen later tonight into tomorrow and into Wednesday. So what we're looking at is a big change. It's the Santa Ana wind. Everybody's heard about it. Hopefully it's well advertised. This is what's considered a moderate Santa Ana event. And what's going to happen is there's a weather system moving out through the Great Basin that's going to change the pressure gradient over the fire. And what that's going to do is it's going to cause the winds to want to turn around to the north. So the winds will want to shift and come down this way on the fire. And then eventually when the stronger winds kick in, we'll see what's called an offshore component where we'll have winds coming out of the northeast to the southwest. Now when this happens and these pressure gradients change, that air has to move through the canyons and over the ridges of the mountains, and that's when it accelerates. So when we get those strong winds pushing all that air into the canyons, it'll want to accelerate to 40, maybe 50 miles an hour. And we're expecting that to happen late tomorrow during the red flag conditions, overnight into Wednesday morning, and then eventually calming down late Wednesday night into third flag conditions. So that's the overview, the big picture on the. Hopefully everything will be okay. But I just want everybody to be really aware that this is a dangerous situation that we're going into tomorrow. So be prepared and stay.
Talk right here.
Our operations section chief.
Good evening. Just give you a quick update on what the fire is doing over the last 24 hours and what we had going on today. So last night, the area of concern, big fire activity that came down and pushed to the south and west with downslope heavy winds. That fire behavior has moderated quite a bit, and we have crews that are now doing an active firing operation to tie in the Oak Glen Road and make sure that no fire, or to help mitigate the threat of fire continuing to spread to the west and cross Oak Glen Road. By the end of shift today, they plan on fire from a couple weeks ago stopped down here at Edgar Canyon Road and Oak Glen Road. And all of that will now have control line up to Oak Glen Road. Moving along to the west, this continues on the south end of the fire. This continues to hold where it has for the last day. Some little areas of concern and flare-ups that have been moderated and mitigated throughout the day with hard work from the fire crews out there. Continuing around to the southwest portion of the fire, where we had a big run out into the city of Yucaipa yesterday. All of that area has been secured around the edges with little threat of that continuing to spread in that area. The areas around the houses have been mopped up to mitigate any threat of rekindles or any problems with the houses inside of that push out from yesterday. And crews continue to monitor that area. As you move around to the far western side of the fire near where Highway 38 meets with Bryant, that continues to move slightly westward, and it's now impacted up against a dozer line that we have holding the south and west corner. As we progress up to the north end of the fire in Home Village to tie the rest of the creek bed up to the main fire and mitigate any threat of fire continuing to progress to the north into Mountain Home Village. They progressed that along to the west, and by the end of shift today, hope to have that, plan to have that lined up with the dozer line coming off of Yucaipa Ridge in order to secure that and mitigate the threat of fire crossing Highway 38. Continuing around to the north towards Forest Falls, that fire continues to slowly progress downslope, which is a good thing for us because it's bringing it into an area that's more favorable for us to take action on it. Crews are continuing to prep along the toe of the slope, opening up lines and roads in order for us to be able to have a place to bring that fire down to and keep it out of Forest Falls. As we continue around to the far north and east of the fire, up towards Wilshire Peak on Yucaipa Ridge, that has come over the ridge and has continued to progress towards Forest Falls very slowly, and is actually advantageous to us as it continues to come off the slope and bring it down in, towards the community at the bottom of Mill Creek, where we'll have a better opportunity to control the fire there and keep it out of the homes. And that's what we have for today's update.
Thanks. Thanks, Daniel. And next we'll have Chris Vogel, our incident commander.
Good evening, everyone. Just to read, the agencies that are in Unified Command are San Bernardino National Forest, San Bernardino County Fire Department, CAL FIRE San Bernardino Ranger Unit, CAL FIRE Riverside Ranger Unit, Yucaipa City Fire Department, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, Riverside County Sheriff's Department, and CHP. To give you a quick update on the status of fires within the state, as I'm sure you all are aware watching the news, there are multiple fires up and down the state of California. This is causing a critical drawdown in available resources of all types to aid and assist with the suppression efforts of all new starts. As operations had showed you, we have here at Oak Glen a lot of effort today. Around Upper Yucaipa was a lot of effort yesterday. There's been quite a bit of prep work and contingency planning around Holmes Village and also up at Forest Falls. That's going to continue over the next couple days. The resources are going to be assigned along those areas, mopping up on the edge, securing the edge in preparation of the potential Santa Ana wind event coming in tomorrow. Because of that wind event, we're going to be considering additional evacuation advisories that will extend further out into the city of Yucaipa and further west out into Mentone, just as a preparatory effort in case the winds pick up the fire and it jumps the control lines and continues to push in a westerly direction. Thank you.
And finally, we'll have Mayor David Avila.
Thank you. I'm going to speak to you as a citizen and as your mayor of Yucaipa. And I want to say that in my 30 years as a citizen in Yucaipa, I have never seen such a large fire. And as a retired firefighter with 32 years experience, I can assure you I witnessed one of the most dangerous fires that we could have in this area. Not only the ambient weather conditions, but the specific fire situations that occurred during the suppression efforts posed dangers not only to the structures but to the firefighters themselves. And I cannot say enough thank you to the brave men and women who stood in harm's way to protect we Yucaipians. As Chief Vogel mentioned earlier, I want to thank all of the cooperating agencies that all brought together to control this fire. We're not out of the woods yet, I encourage you, if they're asked to evacuate, please evacuate the areas. Be safe. Thank you so much, and thank you to all of the firefighters and law enforcement personnel who have done everything miraculously to protect our little town. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we have time for maybe 10 or 15 minutes worth of questions that have been coming in on Facebook. So the first question is,
Okay, so are there any previous evacuation areas considered to be okay to return to?
Repeat the question too.
So the question was, are there any current evacuation areas that are going to be considered to be reopened and repopulated? For now, as I pointed out just a minute ago, the main concern we have is the forecast of the Santa Ana wind event, which is a wind out of the east and has the potential of pushing the fire further into the communities of Yucaipa, the Mill Creek area, and Mintown. So with that in the forecast and the focus on securing this, we are not going to be considering lifting any of the current evacuations till the wind event has passed.
Are there going to be any evacuations in the Beaumont area?
Repeat the question.
Are there going to be any evacuations in the Beaumont area? Not at this time. We're looking we're pretty confident over there, so we're not looking at anything right now.
How will the residents be notified of evacuations?
We're going to notify any evacuations through the TENS system, which is you'll be notified by your cell phone or your home phone.
Can you tell us where to sign up for the TENS?
You can go to the San Bernardino County Fire website at sbcfire.org.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about the structure loss? Were there any structures lost?
Repeat the question too.
Sorry. So the question was there any structure loss, and can we update that a little bit? So there was some structure loss on the end. We know that there have been some outbuildings lost. Our damage assessment team is out there now. They're coming back in this afternoon. They'll give us a full report on types of structures and the amount of damage.
Okay, so we're receiving a lot of questions about evacuations, and can you maybe talk a little bit about how we're putting out the evacuation maps? And we will reply to all the questions on Facebook direct.
Yeah, so we're putting the maps out on Facebook. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. So
All social media.
So all of our evacuation maps are updated on the website, so you'll be able to see those as they're live action.
okay. Thanks, everybody. That includes this night's community meetings. Thanks very much. We'll try to answer the bulk of your questions on Facebook. So continue to ask, and we'll do our best.